Transmutation of negative vibes. The most effective way to change your mood is to first understand that you have complete power over how you feel. Even if it appears that you don't, and seems like you're under a cloud or have a heavy fog kind of hovering above you or following you around. External stimuli is passing and does not have the ability to override your ability to choose what channels you set your emotional frequencies to. Take a moment and think about a particularly enjoyable time in your life. Think of a special person or certain milestones or experiences in your life that brought you significant joy. Once your mind is completely saturated in this pleasant memory, I want you to then switch over to a not so pleasing experience. One that might have caused you great anguish, disappointment, regret, or sadness. One that took you a significant amount of time to pass through. And once your mind is riddled with that not so pleasant memory, let's come back to the present moment and discuss how malleable our emotional capabilities are. In a matter of seconds, one thought has the ability to override, heighten, or lower our mood. But it doesn't happen without your participation, even if it appears to. It's only because of our habitual conditioning of pairing certain thoughts to certain emotions that make it so we no longer need to be consciously and presently engaged in the deliberate act of choosing. In other words, your foot's always on the gas, but you're not always aware that it is. See, I practiced what I'm about to tell you so much so that I realized how powerful of an effect it produces when implemented at the first impression of negative thought. Everything is relative, and you must learn to relate the thought, mood, or idea that you don't wish to grow or give power to one that neutralizes it. For example, I struggled for a long time with trust issues, which when really examined were control issues, and even deeper, my fear of irrelevance. So one day I was in a bit of a funk about a lover not giving me the attention I thought I deserved, and so eagerly showed him. And the more I thought about what he wasn't giving me, the more memories from past relationship letdowns flooded into the conversation like magnets. So the energy had nothing else to do but grow. And then I started to cross the street one day, and a car abruptly slammed on its brakes just inches away from me. Now, I crossed this street a million times, and I consider myself pretty careful when it comes to my overall safety choices. But on this day, I was walking like I had no clue that I was leaving the sidewalk and entering an area where the game was quite different and the means of travel a bit more complex. As I was jolted back into the present moment, these memories that only seconds earlier completely occupied my mental space had lost their signals as if someone unplugged their power supply. I looked at the driver, who was breathing heavily and without a doubt scared shitless, and I felt embarrassed, ashamed, and stupid. But more than anything else, I felt grateful. Just the realization that I could have been hit or caused harm to others for my negligence was heavy enough to reframe my previous construct. You see, all of a sudden, my arms, legs, feet, hands, motor skills, internal organs, and everything else were a gift. Because I had a glimpse of how much differently that outcome could have been for me and everyone else, just because I wasn't paying attention to oncoming traffic, I was now in a state of appreciation. And it wasn't like I was even looking for it. But the proof was right in front of me. Now, I've seen some horrific accidents in my life. Acts of violence, car accidents, fights, some serious incidents that some people unfortunately was not able to walk away from. And because of that relativity, just like that, I was valuable again to myself. I was blessed. I was overcome with gratitude and appreciation. Nothing changed but the direction of my thoughts. So then I started to do it deliberately. I'd catch myself being impatient or ungrateful, hating a job I didn't have to do, but I chose to continue to do, being judgmental of family, friends, coworkers, strangers, being selfish in some way. And when I would start down that path and other negative similar ideas started to form and cling to me, I'd force myself to think about a time in my life where food was scarce, or a time where I had no job to be tired of or irritated by, a time where I had no friends to judge or coworkers to criticize, a time where I was wearing dirty or dingy clothes and needed the compassion and empathy of others. A time where my mind could only fantasize about being free and still enough to create problems where they didn't exist. The stronger the negative pull, the stronger the pull must be in the opposite direction. Make it a habit to appreciate that which does its job without needing your assistance or focus. And the easiest place to start is appreciating life. The sun rising, the flowers growing, the food and water supply that you have access to, your body doing everything it can to sustain your existence, the freedom your mind has to reprogram itself at your command, the beauty of a smile. Start here and grow in your power.